Hi, this is Olliemathews, and thanks for watching my next video on my channel dealing with recovery from narcissistic abuse. Today I want to talk about something. I'm going to read a comment. I was asked for my opinion. It's something I think it's important, and it's something I deal with, and I want to give you my take, and the guy's asking me for some advice, and I'm just going to give him my take. This comes from FDaz78 on YouTube, and he asks, I'm in the process of separating from my son's mother, and she's a textbook narcissist. I'm deeply concerned about my son's future, as legally I can only have him every other week. Please give me your take on how I can minimize the damage to my son. I was blessed with good parents who care deeply for me. I want to give my son the same, but it's impossible with my son's mother. Please give me some tips or things you wish your dad did to protect you from the evil that is the narcissist. Thank you, and God bless, brother. Well, my father's a narcissist himself, so the easy question was just to get me out of there, but that wasn't going to happen. But it seems like you have an advantage where you're not a narcissist yourself and you don't come from narcissists, so you have a stable base. Look, these are tough situations. Anytime there's a divorce and there's separation and there's kids involved, you have to understand that you're at a disadvantage because you're a guy. And you could go and you could say, oh, this woman's a narcissist and mental. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. Okay? The stark reality is, as far as whatever state you're in, you're viewed as a cash machine, and that's all they want to know from you. They say they want you to have a relationship. They give you visitation, but then they don't enforce it. Where in my case, where I have visitation and my ex-wife can just violate the order whenever she feels fit, and there's nothing you can do about it. You have to go, and then you have to file a contempt of the order, and then you have to go back to court, and then the judge says, no, you don't do that, and then oh, I won't do that again, and then she does it again and again, and they're not going to throw anybody in jail, and deep down you don't want to throw anybody in jail. And who suffers? Your child. What I've done, or what I've had to do is, because my daughter's involved with both my narcissistic parents and her mother, and being brainwashed, and there's not much I can do about it because there's a legal system that protects that process, and I could spend money I don't have to lose cases, to lose case after case, and to get nowhere. Or I could just be ready and as healed as possible to give her the most normal home life that I can when she realizes that it's how bad it is. She's going to need stability, and that's what I would suggest you do with your son, is to be as stable as you possibly can. To give him a normal home life when he's with you as you possibly can, because that's really all you can do. If you think you're going to fight this woman and say, oh, well, she's narcissistic and she did this and she did that and she does this, they don't want to hear it. Courts don't want to hear it. All they want to know is if you're paying your child support. That's all they care about, because you're a dollar figure. The other most important thing you can do, and and this is personal to me, because the other part of why I moved 1,500 miles away was my ex was on a mission to have me end up in the back of a police car, threatening me, if you don't have her here, I'm gonna hit myself, I'm gonna throw myself down the stairs, I'm gonna hit myself in the face with a frying pan, and I'm gonna call the cops and tell them you did. And that's the hammer they have over you all the time, and especially with a narcissist. Okay, when a lot of times in custody cases, you're going. If a woman says you put your hands on them, or they did this, and they're just taking you, and then you're in jail, and then you're fighting that off, and then it's done, and then that affects your custody. Now, thank God, none of that ever. I got out before any of that could ever have happened. And I would suggest when you're picking up your child, if you think there's going to be any type of record it. And it's going to be unfortunate, but in the long run, it's to the betterment of your child, because you're doing it to protect. You got to be there to counterbalance whatever insanity is going to be going on in your ex's, and when she's with your ex, when he's with your ex. You're going to have to be able to counterbalance, her talking down to you, saying you ain't nothing. It's going to happen, and you're going to have to be able to deal with your son maybe turning on you for a while, because it's easier for him to deal with that, and you gotta back off, because you can go to court and you can yell and scream and this, but it's really up to the mother. Okay, and if a lot of these times, because I was threatened directly, I will put you in jail, I will say this, my lawyer told me to say I got thrown down the stairs. Okay, and I'm not the exception. Okay, that's pretty much the norm when these things happen. You have to be above it, and you have to be able to step away and say, you know what, son, what I did with my daughter. You know what, sweetheart, I love you very much. You can call me whenever you want, and I will always pick up the phone, and I will always be here for you. But you're not going to be able to force yourself on him. You have to be there to pick up the pieces, potentially. And as sad as that is, as early on as it is, you got to be there for it. And that's what I am. That's where I am in my life. My daughter's 10 years old, She really doesn't want much to do with me at this point. She gets whatever she wants up there to not talk to me, and dealing with what she's dealing with up there. And I got to be here, because the day's going to come, the phone's going to ring. And she's going to be like, what is going on? You need to be the stability. Now, luckily, you say your parents are, you have wonderful parents, and that's awesome. And that's even to your detriment. That's even to your betterment. You got a support structure. So, you might not have a heart as a journey, because you got people there, to help you out. But don't underestimate this girl, especially if she's a full-blown narcissist, and now she's ticked off. And I was married to my wife I was with her for 14 years, and it's like this, and she uses our daughter as a weapon. I have to be here. I have to have my head right. I have to be as clear as possible, so I can help pick up the pieces. And that's really what you need to be prepared for. And I'm not saying it's going to be that bad, and I hope it isn't, but you got to be prepared for it. And I can't emphasize enough, if you think she's setting you up for you to end up in the back of a police car, because it's easy. It's easy. All they got to say is you touched them, you looked at them, you threatened. You're gone, and then what? And then you're fighting to go through supervised visitations, because now you're violent, now you can't be around your own children, and it's a nightmare. And I've seen too many guys go down that road. Okay, luckily, I moved 1,500 miles away, and when I did it, I knew, if you do this, you're not necessarily going to adhere to sending your daughter. It's either that or stay in New Jersey, and I know at some point it's going to be, I'm going to end up in jail. Like, I'm going to end up, because that's what you kept threatening. And you couple that with already what my parents trying, and it was just too much. So I had to separate myself. The other thing I would suggest is, like, 'cause my daughter has an area for whenever I'm ready for her. She has a room, she's ready, she's got her stuff, she has whenever. Make sure you have an area for you and your kid. Someplace that's you and his, and someplace he can identify, and someplace he can feel safe with you as well. And that's really the most you can do here. It's tough, and you're gonna probably want to pull your hair out at times, and I don't know how far you're in the process with visitation, support, who's getting. Just be prepared. Okay, you can fight for whatever, but at the end of the day, it's whatever your state mandates, because it's a cookie cutter. If your state mandates the dad gets this amount of time at some weekends, that's what you're getting. There's no fighting anything. You think there's no fighting it. And if you think you're going to go in and prove that she's a narcissist, then it's not. Because then what they do is they make you pay for home evaluations, and the home you can spend up to 10, 15 grand on home evaluations and the whole process, and you know what? 95% of the time you're still going to lose. It doesn't matter. You got to just keep yourself right. So thank you for the question. It's an important one. It really goes when you're dealing with, any type of divorce, not even divorce from a narcissist, but a divorce from a narcissist is even worse. It's even worse because they're out for blood. A narcissist doesn't like to be crossed or not have their way in any way, shape, or form. So when you're separating from one, and a narcissist uses whatever tool they can against you. So don't think they're not going to use a child. Well, they do it all the time. And it's unfortunate, but the best thing you can do for your child is to make sure your head's right, and that's the best advice I can give you. Thanks again for the question. Thanks everybody for watching. If you have any comments on the subject, I'd love to hear them. I'm going to try to release another video maybe tomorrow, maybe even later today, but definitely by tomorrow I'll have another subject. But I wanted to address this first because, I know how important it is to especially single dads, like me. You love your kids, but it's hard dealing with narcissism, dealing with children, and I'm trying to wade through it myself, so it's the best advice I can give you, brother. Good luck, and I'll see you all real soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye.